But being able to ask those questions, being able to question yourself, to question your animalistic instincts, is is being human, and to be able to say yes or no to those questions and act on those questions and act on that answer is what makes you a better individual.
To be an individual, like Daniel said.
I There was a point that you were talking about within that response, and you talked about now in this day and age, our dopamine or our reward system in our brains are being constantly hijacked by our phones, by the food that we eat. And so I think, or I know that for a fact, one of the response mechanisms, or one of the great things about being a human being, is being conscious. So despite the fact that your reward system is ringing, hey, this donut is pretty good, I'm getting sugar so I can run more, you know that, hey, no, this, I don't really work out that much. I'm probably working an office job, or I'm in school all day, and if I continue eating this donut, even though my brain is telling me, hey, yes, I know from my consciousness, because this is something that animals don't have, right? They animals who are not conscious, they act based solely on our reward system. But us as human beings, we have that ability to say, well, my brain is telling me, yes, masturbation is pleasurable, or eating a donut is pleasurable. However, I know this is not good for myself, and that essentially goes back to the idea of having a will, being an individual, right? If you surrender yourself, your consciousness, your logos, to these animalistic instincts, because that's what it really is, animalistic instincts, that those are the instincts that animals adhere to. We adhere to the rational being, right? Kind of like what Immanuel Kant says about us having a natural being and a rational being, right? In order for us to cultivate and to improve our rational being, we need to be able to act outside animalistic intentions. And so I think that is being able to say no, again, being able to say no to yourself when it comes to, for example, eating foods that are not good for you. That is important for you to become an individual with will. And you may think, you know, uh, Daniel, usually when we talk about individuals having will, we talk about it in the political sense, where, I have my own beliefs and I want to talk about my own beliefs. Your individual will start at you becoming the best person that you can become. And I think that is something that many people today lack. They don't understand that. And so it really starts, and, I'm a real believer in doing things from doing the small things, because those small things, they will your ability to say no to the small things, your ability to do the small things will eventually tell you or give you a sense of how well you're able to do the big things. It is only when you can finish the small projects you can do the big projects.
And so, like, your brain has a mind of its own. So sometimes you want to do something, but you realize there's no positive benefit to it. There's only pleasure that comes out of it. There's no satisfaction or anything. So you got to have like a quick to do list mechanism in your mind. I mean, quick pros and cons in your mind. So you're like, what's the benefit of this? What's the negative of this? Am I doing this just for feeling? Am I doing this for long term things? Because your brain doesn't realize what you're doing. Your brain doesn't realize what's fake and what's not fake. So there's a study that you showed a picture of a puppy, and you get some chemical release in your brain, and you thought of a picture of a puppy walking into a room, and you get the same chemical release in your brain. So that's why when you, as Daniel said, when you masturbate, you feel a certain way because your brain doesn't know what's going on. And then
You do.
your brain eventually catches up, and your brain's like, wait, you're just wasting energy to feel a certain way. There's no positive benefit of this. There's no use. And so in that sense, you have to check yourself sometimes, and you're like, am I what I'm doing, is it serving me in any ways? Because sometimes you do something and you get pleasure from it, but then long term it's only detrimental. And that doesn't mean you have to eat food for fuel, because I don't even do that, or eat for performance. I eat for pleasure too sometimes, not all the time, but for most of the times. I know I can't control everything because my mom makes certain things, and I know some of you guys don't have the liberty of buying your own food or being wherever you want to be, because sometimes you have to be home, whether it's for one reason or another. But you have some sort of autonomy. And I know some people trick themselves into thinking, when I get to college, I'm gonna be so disciplined, or when I get to college, I'm gonna be so free. We have a sense of freedom now. If you're spending 8 hours on Instagram, you could do that 8 hours doing almost anything, doing something positive, doing something negative, doing watching the Daniel Idfresne Show, watching OK Zoomer podcasts. You control what you do on your phone. I know some of your parents check your phone, but some of your parents don't check your phone, and some of your parents kind of need to check your phone. I'm not saying they're gonna, but some of you guys do some crazy stuff on your phone. And you just have to realize, like, sometimes you have to think, if someone's watching over me, what would I be doing this right now? If I saw myself third person with my mouth open looking at pixels on a box that I'm holding on my phone, is that like rational? Like, what am I doing? Am I doing this for the chemicals? Am I just doom
Yeah.
scrolling
Yeah.
for hours and hours? And so there was a joke Joe Rogan said, that looking at your hand for hours is better than looking at your phone.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Being able to ask those questions, being able to question your reward system or to question your animalistic instincts is what makes you human. It's the rational being. And Immanuel Kant, he extends this and say this is why we are all worthy of respect. That's for another video about rights and whatever. But being able to ask those questions, being able to question yourself, to question your animalistic instincts, and is is being human, and to be able to say yes or no to those questions and act on those questions and act on that answer is what makes you a better individual.